Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in with us today. I'm Voxinistra, and you're watching my Twitch channel, wherein I bring you, a variety of programming now, but also on Wednesdays, I'm hosting live interviews with guests and also, yeah, uh, we're joined here today with Lady Maru, and we're also going to listen to the new record, Bloody and Terry Country, which is being released this Friday on Moscow-based label Routine Records. So we are going to hear about this record, and we are also going to listen to it just a couple days before it's released, but you can check it out. I'll post some links here in the chat. But yeah, we are going to talk a bit with Lady Maru and then get in to the album itself. So, hello, Lady Maru.
Hello, nice to meet you all.
Sorry, I'm trying to get some text figured out.
Yeah.
I always think I want my own monitor on, and then I'm like in my own headphones, like with a slight delay, just saying the same things over again. It's like very confusing for me to speak and then also have like what I just said, like delaying in my brain.
Yeah.
Too much. Anyway, we're good now. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well on this afternoon slash evening and or different times in different places. We are an international crew here on this channel, and thanks for joining us. Looks like we have Black Agent, we've got Alex Knox, the Battle Dancer, XX Rob. Hello, all. Yeah, so Lady Maru, let's get started in with the interview now. So are you currently based in Rome, or you're just from there and live in Berlin? I saw a few different things when I was looking it up online.
It's actually a little bit confusing just because of the, of course, because of what we're living. I mean, of the COVID stuff. Actually, I moved back to Berlin. I've been living there in '99, actually, and I did back and forth. I moved back in 2020, but unfortunately, right before COVID. And so I just, in the time when there is no work, I go back to Italy. It's a little milder, the climate, as you know, and there is still my family and the old friends. So, and I can play music even here if I want. But in March, I'll be back. I'll be back in Berlin. That's it.
Cool. So basically, just temporarily back in Rome
Yeah,
for
between Rome
COVID
and Berlin.
reasons.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people did that, where uh, they just had to return to their like home base for a bit. I know a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people go to Berlin and live there just because of the the music scene, right? It's like if you're doing music in Berlin, it's like um,
Yeah,
what
of
you're
course,
doing
it's another thing.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool. So, and you plan to return to Berlin in March. What were
Yeah.
you doing there before? I know there's obviously like a zillion different venues and whatnot.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
did you
I
have
think
any like main residencies or just main projects that you were up to in Berlin before?
yeah, actually, I mean, the new thing was I played lastly for Gegen. It's queer party at I mean all over. It was at originally at KitKat, and then they managed to do it a little bit all over Berlin, and even I think, I mean, wherever. It's an international party and a record label. And then there is a lot of crews. My last show actually was at Suicide Club for Golosa Berlin. It's another queer crew, and it was really nice. I had a lot of fun. And then, unfortunately, I mean, 1 week after, there was not the hard lockdown, but the government decided to close clubs again for the sanitary emergency. And so in November, I actually went back to Italy.
Got it. Um, and also a note to the chat, you can post your questions for us at any point, and I will see it, hopefully. maybe you could use the highlight tool in chat if you could. But yeah, I will make sure to get those addressed at some point while we're chatting as well. Okay. So what are you up to in Rome now? Are you still doing music stuff there? Like, I mean, I know no one is really playing shows right now. Well, I guess it depends where you are in the world, right? There's a lot of shows still happening in the US. Some places it's like people are just canceling them. I don't think there's a lot of like actual mandates happening right now.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean,
I know in Europe it's like a lot of places are like mandated shut down already, right?
yeah, of course. I mean, I see in the US it's pretty okay. I mean, because they are treating it like, I mean, it's a cold. So after 5 days, I think you're cool. There is not so much isolation and things. And Italy is going to this point actually now, because we have an incredible wave. Actually, I was playing in a little club of my uh, friends here close to my house. And the night after, I think we had about, maybe there were 100 people or something, a little more. And there was like 50 people with Omicron the other day. So, I mean, was a little, and it was more something you do for fun. I mean, I played actually some EBM and some more wavy stuff. It was not the techno night. And so after we got all a bit scared, because seems like the whole surrounding in my neighborhood, they all got it between before Christmas. It was a Christmas gift, basically.
Yikes. Yeah, I definitely have heard that the transmission of the most recent variant is like, like wildfire, essentially. Like, I saw this alarming article that was like, it was like almost everyone at this event was vaccinated, and it still infected like 80% of the people there or something. It was like a very large number of people, and it was like
Yeah.
only from one person as well. So it's not entirely encouraging to get the shows back up and running. At least for me, I haven't. I've been very cautious this whole time, and I also feel like a social responsibility as a promoter, and like someone who at least tries to facilitate a safer space for people attending my shows. I feel like it's a violation of this for me. I know there's a lot of differing opinions on it at this point, and I mean there's only so long we can all deal with something, and expect to keep everything just continually shut down like forever. So I get why people are doing events and whatnot still, but
Yeah, I mean, there is even to say that we didn't even know that there was Omicron happening. It just came
yeah.
because the other thing was a little bit not so easy to get, and so this is lighter. And who knows where? I mean, the whole neighborhood maybe got it from bars, even just coffee bars, and then in the same period. But anyway, I hope it will be a little bit quieter.
Yeah,
And yeah.
I didn't mean to say that like everyone got COVID at that party or anything. But yeah, I kind of did like a light return to doing live events. And once the Delta variant came in, it was like not going to be like the hot back summer everyone initially thought it was going to be. That's when I was kind of like, this feels weird. Um, but I mean, I definitely wanted to continue doing shows. And then like the variants, the most recent variant, obviously like pretty pervasive. And yeah, I'm just kind of waiting till things die down once again. But yeah, it's like kind of feels like it's never going to end. It's just coming in cycles, right? Which I've actually read recently that it probably will not end. Like, but they didn't expect it to either. Like, apparently, smallpox is the only pandemic that's ever been like, or like the only disease that's been eradicated as well. Maybe, I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I think I read it on NPR the other day. But yeah, they were never expecting COVID to go completely away, and coronaviruses existed before this happened, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
not on the same level that we're experiencing now. But yeah, I mean, all we can really do is kind of do our best and do what we
And keep it
can.
on. I mean, it's destroying especially us, so we have to survive and live with it somehow.
Yeah. I recently quit my day job to DJ full time now that like clubs are reopening. And then like right after that happened, like maybe like 2 weeks later, Omicron came on and I was like, oh, great timing. But I
Hmm.
mean, I knew it was a risk that, things could shut down again. And now I'm completely online. So I guess, the live streams may pick up for a bit for people. But yeah, I have, to address the chat, I have actually streamed a few of my IRL sets that I did a few months ago, but they haven't happened in a minute. I think for me, I'll probably return to events and maybe like I'll try March if things get like radically better all of a sudden, but maybe a little bit later in the spring. We'll see.
It will happen
I,
for
I have
sure.
I have some shows I think booked in like late March. Nothing really earlier than that right now. I'm not sure exactly when to start booking them again because it's stressful, to put all the work and everything into a show and then have to cancel it. So better for me, I think, just to wait until I think there's a minimal chance of canceling. But anyway, I know everyone is dealing with this situation differently. So, um, not currently playing shows then. Uh, do you have plans to play shows again before you go back to Berlin? Or are you just kind of like, waiting to see what happens?
No, I wait to see what happens, and I mean, if it's okay. Now, next week I'm going always with some friends to do a theater residency, and that's another thing. I mean, I play music, but they do other things. They just prepare a show. So I mean, there is no audience; it's just us. And then when I go to Berlin, I'll probably, if everything goes okay, I will play in a theater for a theater play. But it's still, I mean, it's still unsure. I really hope it's gonna be like this. So even that, it's a nice thing because we're just preparing a bigger show altogether. But it's not the usual punk and or techno event. It's something more institutional, let's say. And it's I think it's a super cool way to keep on being active, work, and make music in this pandemic times, let's say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love doing the live streams. Even when I return to like IRL clubs more often, I still want to continue doing them. But I know I might be kind of in in the minority here. I was very internet based before all this stuff happened either. But yeah, so okay, so you've mainly spent your time, it sounds like, between Berlin and Rome. Have you lived anywhere else?
Lived not. I was 3 months, but 3 months doesn't count. It's not really living. I've been in Brussels, but this was like 15 years ago. And then touring, but touring doesn't. It's not really living. So it's another, I think I've spent more time just between Rome and Berlin, actually.
I guess it depends how long you're on tour, right?
Well, I mean, the touring period was great, but this was like many years ago. Even 3 months in the States, I think, was the maximum I could do, even because of the visa thing. But it ended up many years ago. I hope it will be better, because the whole activity changed. Before, there was in the early 20s, in the second half of the 2000, there were more underground shows, so you can sort of play every day. And now it seems like everything is focused into bigger things, and like basically between Thursday and Sunday. So it's getting harder in Europe, and maybe even in the US, to get a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday show.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everywhere in the US. Definitely no one goes out on the weekdays in Seattle, but I think that's always been kind of a thing here because it's a very like tech oriented city. A lot of people have tech day jobs and like 9 to 5 schedules. So no one really goes out except for the weekends. Like it's
Yeah.
the difference is like if you go out to a bar on like a Monday or Tuesday and then the weekend, I mean, anywhere it's going to be like that, right? But Seattle goes hard on this concept.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Olympia, it's a little bit more freaky, but it's a small town, so it's an university town. I don't know if it's just changed in the last years, but it used to be really active.
Yeah, Olympia has an active music scene for sure. A lot of punk shows, a lot of like house in like indie shows, a lot of like folk stuff, and yeah, just a lot of really weird experimental music. Definitely still. I can't say I've heard about a lot of bands coming from Olympia right now. Maybe it's just because people aren't really playing out, or they're just like waiting to debut their pandemic projects until things reopen.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, they've always had like a steady stream of cool punk bands from Olympia. Definitely.
Well, I mean, anyway, the northwest of the United States is definitely a good scene, like up from Portland to where you are, and the whole part is really great. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on like what kind of stuff you're into. Like the
yeah,
techno stuff here is not really very Euro influence, which is what I'm doing. Like more on like the EBM industrial, like 80s
yeah,
inspiration, a lot of like 80s. Well, I used to play exclusively like 80s, mostly European stuff. um, and yeah, people aren't as familiar with that sort of sound here. They respond well to the 80s stuff because that's just like throwback. But um,
uh,
they don't know about like the European influence techno stuff that I play as much. I mean, there are pockets of stuff that embraces that here, but I don't really relate as well to the American techno scene, I think. But that's just me. All right. Okay, so you started producing music in 1994. That is a long time ago, at least for me. Um, and you started playing in no wave and punk bands. Uh, do you want to tell us a little bit how you got started in music and about some of your first projects and these no wave projects?
yeah. I actually always wanted to make music since I was a kid, and then I just whatever, like everybody in the 90s, because I was a teenie at that time. And I didn't want to play the real guitar. I don't like real chords. I can't really play them too. So not even the 77 punk. I'm not so much interested. And so I discovered all this sort of no wave scene that is actually really American, but American of the other side of New York and so on. Like the bands like DNA, and so I started to play a weird guitar And then I met some other weirdos, and we made a band. But this was already after school. And with this band, we managed to tour and to know American artists and other European artists. And this was the first step. And then after this, I started in the early 2000s to get interested in electronic music, like German electronic, especially, and some French and Belgian that was mixing a little bit EBM with techno. And I started to buy my first vinyls, and I played actually in a very good party that was owned by some friends in Rome, and I could just play the ending, like the last 1 hour, and I could play with vinyls that I was not even good in mixing. And after I just said, okay, now I have to DJ. It's way, I mean, to take bands, but DJ too, because it's easier and it's. I really wanted to learn it, and so that's how, actually. So I try to balance basically live music, that is my roots, like this kind of weird, noisy guitar stuff with a straight techno beat.
Yeah, what you said about the the chords reminded me of something one of the people from Half Japanese
Ah,
wrote, which
yeah,
was, pretty no wave. I think Jad Fair said it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
he once
Great.
stated that the only chord I know is the one that connects the guitar to the amp. It reminded me of
Yeah,
that. It's like just not paying attention to those sort of, standard musical conventions and creating your own rules in music. And that I think is a lot of what no wave is about. You
yeah.
know,
I think
reinventing the
even
rules.
yeah, exactly. But I think it's even something you can do if you meet the right weirdos. I mean, if you want to make music that it's a little bit outside of everything, you have to meet other heads that are like you or other freaks. And that's how, I mean, even German bands or whatever bands in history, they just met for some reason and they made really great music. It's a thing of fate and luck, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I actually started out in no wave bands too. I played saxophone, so I'm very familiar with the scene that you were talking about in New York. But yeah, I can definitely hear that. Like even in this album, like I was reading that and I thought that was interesting, because I'm a big no wave fan as well. But I'm also especially interested in this combination of like punk and no wave, and also like techno and electronic music. So it's the exact fusion that I look for. But yeah, you can still hear that in your music now, like even when it's like really like dance floor focus, like acid techno or something. It's like got that like hint of weirdness. It's like something in like the spoken word vocal or like just it's got a little bit of edge even when it's more techno.
I know. I'll be edgy. I think there is no way of keeping it away. I mean, the
So
weirdness.
So this was like the early 2000s for you that you sort of were transitioning or fusing your influences. So you just started going. How did you get into techno? Just started going to these parties, and you just like wanted to combine your previous influence with these like new like electronic interests.
Yeah, but there was, I mean, the scene in Italy is like, I think it's way more interesting in electronic and techno rather than in live music. So I went always there. I mean, I've always been very curious. So I went all over. There were the hardcore scene that will play chords like metal chords, and then there was the illegal rave scene. And there were even some super great DJs that were not playing just hardcore; they were playing more acid techno. And the acid techno in Rome was actually really great. And there was something I could not define that I loved it. And then later I realized what it was when I could finally go to record stores in Germany and London, where you can take more time than here to listen. Because in Rome we didn't used to have so many shops, and there was always a crowd, so you cannot listen so freely. And there you can, and so you can just finally pick up the vinyls you like, and even with no real knowledge. And it was has been really interesting. And then I just played some of those stuff live in these queer parties of my friends, and there was a really good vibe with the audience, even though I couldn't mix, and I liked it because it was very similar to punk rock, to the punk rock music when you play and there is an audience that is following you. I don't know, I mean, it's the same energy. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first person to tell you that I think rave music is super punk, and I mean, at
It
least it's
is.
in its inception, it was definitely like rebelling against, like the government was basically trying to shut it down. Like they didn't want this bad influence on society. Like, when you look at like the UK raves in like the late 80s, early 90s, they were like banning the word acid on the radio, and you couldn't play acid house anywhere. It's like they just wanted to shut it down. So in that sense, and that it kind of had to move like very underground and operate, in these pirate radio stations. It's like very similar to punk to me. So when people are surprised at the fusion of like punk and techno, it kind of surprises me because it feels like a very natural uh, combination. But I guess this is why we're here to let people know.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there was even a weird thing that is one thing is underground at the beginning, and then it gets popular, and then there is the all capitalistic part of it. But I mean, what can you do?
Oh
The
yeah, we
good
could talk about that
thing,
all day.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, whatever. I just did it because I really felt that I have to do it, and I still miss it. I mean, I miss the energy of the floor really badly because I got used to play every weekend. I mean, in the 2 years ago, before this COVID started, I always had shows, even basement shows or whatever, or last minute shows, whatever. I just played, and so I missed it really badly. But what can we do? I mean, the beat will go on somehow.
Yeah, eventually.
Hopefully,
um,
at least.
yeah. So you'd say that your sound is more driven towards the acid end of techno, right? And like definitely with like EBM industrial influences.
Yeah, I would say that that's. I mean, I actually it's not. Maybe it's not. Sometimes it's not good to write about the broadly speaking the influence, but I think it's like that. I mean, of course, I'm a fan of historical people like Thomas Heckman, and I mean, the best thing Thomas Heckman did a lot of things, but I mean, his acid is really good. I think, for instance, and or whatever in EBM, it's something weird because I'm not a huge fan of the 90s EBM, but I like more the 80s development of it, meaning this kind of rhythm that it's a very good balance between techno and wave. I mean, dark wave or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree maybe an old school EBM is the way to
yeah,
go. But I mean, I love all sorts of new EBM as well. It's like what I do weekly on this channel, right? I play a lot of new EBM here. But yeah, I mean, as I think like once you hit like maybe the early mid 90s, like 94 or something, got started going into sort of a more like aggro tech or something direction. Um, it's not really what I'm drawn to either.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end there is good stuff everywhere. So of course, but just the I don't know, the way they use the voice, for instance. I don't know. It's always connected to the old background, the freaky one. So there is some band, some even when I'm on YouTube and I listen to a lot of minimal wave that is less dancey, is a little bit more edgy because the kick is so delicate and they all used analog instruments. But some ideas they had of the voice was really, I think, was really great. Like I should watch my how you say, my hard disk to tell you the names, because there is so many and many are totally unknown. But I really liked it too. Even if it's not like if you put it on a crowded night, it you won't have the great effect of the of everybody dancing. But it's I mean it's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think people always really respond well if I play like one of those tracks over something a little bit more driving or like that's a little bit maybe more accessible sounding. I love to do that. Just like sort of throw in like a wild card track, like sneak it in there, but like mix it with other stuff that's kind of like camouflages how weird it is, you know? It's got like this really like 4/4 techno beat underneath, and then there's like weird 80s minimal wave vocals coming out of nowhere. But yeah, I, I love that combination of just like, you know, weird 80s stuff and dance music. But I think there's a way to do them both. I'm trying to make it work anyway. Um,
Of course.
yeah. So what are can you name like some of the bands that you're thinking about maybe? I know you said you'd have to like look at your big list, but even like just general inspirations from this era, you know, like 80s EBM or minimal wave or that scene. Like what are you most like drawn towards?
Um,
Which projects perhaps or like just some that you like listening to or that have been
well, I
like a
mean,
bigger influence.
I think that 10 years ago I wrote, but this is not so much EBM. I wrote with a friend, with two friends. We collected for an Italian magazine all the German stuff of the 80s, but it was more like their plan, and they are like German residents, I think. I mean, they are more influenced by the residents, but some songs are more like minimal wavy. And then there was this band that was totally weird called the Wirtschaftswunder. That in Germany it means the miracle of the industry. And I saw this band and I saw, wow, fuck, they're totally crazy. The singer is Italian, but he sings on a really weird Italian, like old-fashioned Italian of the 30s. And then the music was like really, it was wavy, and but with a real drummer. And I thought, I mean, this stuff was really interesting. And then I think there is this volume. It's probably very famous in America. It's maybe more famous than us. It's called the Bedroom Tapes. I think you know, or and it's a minimal wave collection of a lot of artists that are between 78 and 82, if I remember well. And this was really interesting too.
Yeah, I'm looking up this compilation right now. It's on a minimal wave.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's got Arvid Tuba. That's some really weird. I think Swedish, right? Yeah,
yeah,
that's probably one of the
yeah. Because
weirdest
my
'80s
computer
minimal
is
acts
now, yeah,
I've
exactly.
come
My
across.
computer is now. I mean, I'm using it, so I don't. If maybe if I find something. Anyway, this is yeah. I mean, all this is the stuff I research when I do it for own pleasure, let's say. And then if I manage to take some of those tracks, I use them for special DJ sets. like not the night where everybody has to dance. There I use other things, more modern, and maybe I do the closing with this, with some of those tracks. You know, the moment where we have, everybody has to go home and you can play whatever you like, even for half an hour. And this is one thing I really like and miss now that we are in COVID times, of course.
Yeah, the actual dance floor seems like a distant memory at this point. I mean, I've played a few gigs like in real clubs since then, but yeah, just a couple for
Yeah,
now
me
anyway.
too. Hmm.
Okay. So, and you said you were DJing at a small club in Rome and you started to call it Metaverso. It was a cult club. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, it's exactly the club I told you when I started to put some the vinyls, because this was a small, really small club, about 200 people maximum, but really packed. And yeah, it was in this area that was in the end beginning of 2000, really nice. There was a good scene around, and I played for this party, and then sometimes I did some extra parties there with some other friends, and it was always packed. But just because, like every city, every big city, there is a period like 3 4 years when a club it's really good, when people come and like it, and it's the right people, and exactly when it happens that something is at the right place, right moment. The PA was really good compared to Rome. Rome has always had technical troubles, and there you really feel the bass because it was in a surrounding where there is nothing, just other clubs, and so this was, I think, really good. I could really develop and learn to DJ, especially to have the audience, to learn how to deal with the audience 3 4 years, and then I think in 2006 it was already over, and then new situation, I mean new parties and venues has started.
Cool. I just wanted to hear a little bit about that since you called it a cult club. Had to get the in on this cult club. All right. So let's talk a bit about the record now. Do you want to tell us who Lestat
The what?
is? Let's talk about the record now. Bloody
The
Guitar
record,
Country.
yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
so who is Lestat? Is that? I'm sorry. I think that's how you say it. And how did
Yeah,
you start working together?
Lestat is a Roman DJ. He's a bit younger than me, and actually he has been playing stuff, I think, for a lot of many years. He has several, I think he plays EBM in some more dark nights every Saturday. I mean, I always say before COVID, of course. And he has been producing some weird stuff, even for another label of a person that it's more an experimental work, more with melodies, with no voice and pianoscapes. He's a more, let's say, skilled, I would say, skilled musician, compared to me, that I'm more a little bit more punk and dirty somehow. And yeah, so we decided, actually we talked several times to do something together, and then we made first a dance floor production for Insane Industry. It's a techno record label from the northern Italy. And then we decided, since he's a really good EBM producer, we decided to work together on an album that has even some voice and more melody rather than rather rhythm. And so we did it.
And you've actually worked with this person on a previous release, right? It was an EP. I
Yeah.
believe it was called uh, Techno Anarchists, maybe.
No,
Is that
disrupted anarchists.
oh, okay. I know something about anarchists, and I just
Yeah.
made that up. Disrupted anarchists. Okay,
Yeah.
um, but it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so and you just found him like through playing shows or just music
Yeah.
community.
Around. Yeah. Yeah. I
Did
mean,
you say he's from Italy?
from Rome. I
Okay.
mean, where there is in Rome, even now we have just a few venues, so we all know each other. I mean, if you play music, you in Rome, and you are a curious person, you go out, and so we see each other since ever. There is not so many. I mean, Rome is not Berlin, where there is people that comes and goes and many new faces. We have a lot of old faces and some new faces, and so we know who we are. Let's say, which is can be even something really nice, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably the case in most scenes, and especially if you get into something like this underground, it's going to be, you know, sort of tight knit at some point. Um, but yeah, okay. So this label that you've released on, Routine, have you worked with them before?
And no, but I have seen Driada's work. She's a girl, the uh, co-founder or the founder of Routine, and she does really interesting things with her voice. And I have seen her on some web pages of friends of people I follow on Facebook and Instagram. And so I just sent the demo because I actually I'm a fan of her work. I like it.
I've actually asked her to play on my show before. So I'm familiar too. And with the label, they've been doing some cool stuff over there. Um,
Yeah,
Moscow definitely has a scene for this sort of stuff. Um,
yeah, yeah. I
hello
think
to anyone out there in Russia.
yeah, I think Russia is very interesting. I mean, I haven't have the luck to go there now, but I hope that I can see it soon. I know there is, of course, political troubles and some
Oh, yeah.
things are not really the coolest, but apart from this, I think the people are really good. I mean, musically, they're really good. I mean, there is a lot of good productions and weird things going on. So I actually feel really attracted. I mean, I like their aesthetics, and I'm pretty attracted to this country somehow.
Yeah, their dark music scene has definitely taken its own life, it seems like. Um, yeah, I'm always impressed with the volume of stuff that comes from there, and yeah, the special like aesthetic quality to everything. It seems like they put a lot of work into making it like a complete experience. I don't know. A lot of the artists I know there like are very into fashion and like just the whole like aesthetic of the experience too. Um, but yeah, cool. So this record we're talking about is called Bloody and Terry Country, and it's coming out officially this Friday on Routine Records out of Moscow, which we just talked about. I will post a link to it in the chat for you right now. And in a few minutes, we are going to listen to it as well. But yeah, okay, so on to the next question. Uh, it seems like you've released on a lot of labels. I just looked at this list here that I think was on your SoundCloud page, but I'm just going to name a few of them. Gagan Records. You talked about that a little bit earlier, and that's a label I'm familiar with, and they've been releasing some really cool underground techno, sort of like on the harder, like you know, warehousey or end of things. Um, let's see other stuff on here: Fallen Angel Techno, Electro Tribe, Hydraulics, Rivok Records, MMA Belgium, Physical Techno Records, SMR Underground, Insane Industry, Fluctuate, Witches Are Back. I like that name. Obscure Records, Industrial Complex, Diffuse Reality, Harder Tracks, Vimantra Records. Lots of stuff I know there, a lot of really good stuff. Um, and you also have your own record label. So this is for acid music called Acid Boiler Coalition. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's actually for acid music, and now the plan was to do just one vinyl a year. And unfortunately, I just started with Corona. I mean, the first record came out in February the 10th, and after 15 days, there was a general lockdown. But I managed to sold out the first record, so I'm happy. I have a underground distributor, and then the rest I did it by hand, like going to Berlin, unfortunately, because my in France I couldn't go, and in Brussels I couldn't go, so I couldn't do shows and bring my record with me. So this was a bit bad luck. And then the second, I still have to get rid of some copies, because of course it will get slower to put it on. And then there is a question if I can continue as I want, or I mean the next vinyl should be this year, but I have some, maybe I the how you say, the prices are rising because of a new law in Italy, and so I
Inflation.
have to, yeah, a new law that you cannot do. I didn't. I still have to talk to the distributor, and we will see if to find a solution for that. Anyway,
Uh,
the plan is
do you mean
just to
like
do it.
a new minimum for how much you have to print, or?
Yeah, that the minimum. I mean, the price I had before was really perfect. I mean, that just to break even. If once you sell everything, you break even, and that's all I want. And now there is maybe some trouble because of Italian taxes that the distributor did for me. So I was not really, and so we have to talk and see if we can solve it. And I hope so. So I can continue. And I was already trying to think about the next four tracks to for the vinyl. But I mean, the conditions need to be human, because otherwise you just go down, as you know, of the record industry. I mean, if you're not doing, I mean, I'm not a mainstream label or whatever. So as long as I break even and I go by myself with the records in my hand, I sort of like it. It's the old school way. But if the production price gets over what I can actually sell, then have to think twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It's tough business decisions with all of that right now. I know that there's a huge delay in printing also in
Yeah,
vinyl right
exactly.
now. Like everyone who has already like said their albums are releasing, or like like 6 months later still waiting for the records. Like I'm seeing all these posts from these people just like, we finally got our records in, like 9 months later. It's like a big delay, so I can understand there's some extenuating circumstances, but you
Yeah,
are
exactly.
trying to release one per year ish still. Is that like from
Yeah.
varying artists? Like who have you released on the label?
Right now it was just I mean Ayako, the first one that is seems that the first one was went really well because of quality. I mean, that's what the record shops say, that the quality of the sound was really good of that record. And I had Ayako Mori. She's from my friend from Japan. I mean, she lives in Germany, but is actually Japanese producer. Really, really good. And she's on I mean, she made a really career jump now. She's really very busy and doing a lot of good stuff. Then there is Edo Messina. It's a young producer that lives now in Berlin. And in the first, and then a young producer from southern Italy that worked with Ayako before, and he did a really nice classic but underground AC track. And then one track was mine, and the second, but it's less industrial, it's more classic acid, the first record, and the second is more a mixture of Italian producers, and some are originally from the old part of Rome. They are called the Mighty Raptus, and it's actually people of minimal Rome that has been an historical analog label. And actually, two guys have even another more Italo project, and they are called Heinrich Dressel and Tesla Sonic. And they produce for a lot of label, like they're connected to, I don't know if you know, from Clone Records of Amsterdam. They work with them. I mean, it's all a connection. And then there was basically Italians, because I know them directly. Even Gigi Galli, it's another good producer, and some younger kids from Napoli. And I could just meet them. You know, there was a thing that you can just meet, look in your eyes, give you the record by hand. And it was, I think, good for a start of a label.
So how long have you been doing this label for?
No, just 2 years. I started with COVID. So it's like very bad timing, let's say.
Oh, so that wasn't the plan. It wasn't like, well, I can't play live shows now, so I'm going to do this record label. It was like you started it before,
Yeah,
and it then got
even
shut down. Okay.
less DJs that play the records, of course.
Right,
I
right.
mean, less possibility, less money, less buyers, less whatever. So, I mean, it's still, I feel happy that I could almost break even the second. So that's good.
Well, I hope that you can continue to break even there. Let's
Yeah.
I'll find a link for your. Do you have a Bandcamp for your label?
Yeah, but you can even go to Discogs. It's better because on Discogs there is a lot of there is more stuff. It's called Acid Boiler Collision. But there is the Bandcamp, the Facebook, the and the Discogs. There is almost everything.
Okay, I'm pulling that stuff up now. But yeah, so you have the Underground Acid 12-inch, the
Yeah,
Quarantina Acida.
Acida. See.
Okay, oops, I tried. Acida.
Yeah. Go
Is
ahead.
that Italian? No,
Yeah.
that's it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Quarantena Acida. It's acid quarantine. Yes. It
Okay, I think I
means
was doing
acid
like the
quarantine.
Spanish
Yeah.
pronunciation for that word.
Yeah.
Um, okay, and the Underground Acid remix is 2, which yeah, looks like 2020, 2021. And you're just kind of waiting to see if you can get a better deal on printing the next one. What, if you want to share, like what record is it? Like,
Um.
do you have something like queued up for the next one, or are you just kind of waiting for the
No, no,
vinyl
no.
situation?
I wait, and then if I'm sure that I can do it, then I will ask to producers. But I want to be sure. I don't want to say give me a track and then I don't do it. You know, worst of the
Cool.
cases, I wait 1 year. So I mean, nobody will. I mean, it's all good.
It seems like that might be the wait for a vinyl record right now. Anyway, it's like,
Anyway, exactly.
yeah, um, endless wait times. All right. Okay. So Acid Boiler Coalition is Lady Maru's label that we're talking about, primarily acid music. And um, I'm struggling at multitasking right now, but I will post links to that in just a moment. Um, okay, let's go on to the next question, though. Which bands and like what music do you listen to now? Like, what are your current musical inspirations?
Right now, I mean, right now in the years or right now.
Like lately, like in the last few months, I guess, or this year, sure, or the last year.
No, actually, I was because I always listen to a lot of stuff, as I told you, but some stuff I just refined from the past, and some new. I mean, of course, I'm waiting for Molly Nilsson new record. I just listened to some songs, and of course, some I like, and then I think the whole record will be out soon. And I mean, it's always, I mean, I like this stuff anyway. The pop music mixed with wave and all. I like it a lot. And then I just re-listened to the old discography of Gigolo Records, and especially some old tracks were really, I mean, sometimes I just do it even to combine new ideas, I mean old ideas that people had with new ideas, but some stuff was really funny and great. I mean, the big names and even some super unknown names that I hardly remembered, and was really interesting. And yeah, then always YouTubing, I discover here and there even new stuff or old stuff. I would say that on my computer desktop, I've seen the, how you say, the folder with Molly Nilsson and with Gigolo. So I think those were the last things of the last week, maybe.
Yeah, Gigolo Records. They primarily do like Italo, right? Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. What
No, they're
do they
really
have a lot of
weird.
Italo? Yeah, I think I'm thinking of a different label. Can you tell me about this one?
No, no, it's true that it's like it's DJ Hell's label. So apparently, I remember that when it was in the back to the early 2000, I was not playing this stuff because I thought it was commercial. Because some of the tracks were actually commercial, you know. Some names were getting bigger, and like every DJ of that time was playing it. But then if you look to the old discography, there was even some stuff was totally unknown. Maybe it got big for 1 or 2 years and then it was forgotten. And I think it's really interesting. Okay, David Carretta, he's more between Italo and it's a French producer. And but then there was even Terence Fixmer and a lot, really a lot of names. And I think it was actually could be inspiring to take some of those ideas of what was called Electrocash and then put it back into new vibes.
Yeah, so I was actually going to ask you about Electroclash since it sounded like the time that you got into uh, like this combination of punk and techno was at like the very beginning of the Electrocash movement, like the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was curious if that had any impact on you. It didn't sound like you were primarily. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but it's a little bit different, I guess, than like more driving techno or acid and punk. But I mean, obviously, like the essential combination is still there of like electro and punk. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I think it was there. I mean, it's everything. I mean, the phenomenon itself, even Electroclash, is not really. It for I think after 2 or 3 years, it got really that's like that's not music or whatever. That's not club music. But I think that in a phenomenon, in an area, there was things that were really great and things that were not so great and things that were just funny. So I think it was really what I liked of this. It was the fact that there were skilled musicians sometimes, and sometimes were people that could really play no music at all, but maybe had more theater. I mean, they came from theater, and so if you just sing and dance, it's cool anyway. And I mean, I sort of liked even that philosophy. So I think I've seen even a lot of live. I was going, especially in the summer, even back and forth in Berlin, and I could really see is a lot of crazy stuff, like just people that put at that time the CD player, and on the CD player there was just a beat going on, and they were just singing and dancing, and maybe people got crazy because there was a beat. So it was, I mean, it was weird but funny. Really 2000, 2005, I would say.
yeah, so I'm looking at this label, and there are an amazing amount of releases. I mean, I've heard a lot of this stuff. I kind of forgot it was DJ Hell's label, but I obviously need to look more into it.
Yeah,
There's some really cool stuff on here, like Tuxedo Moon remixes. A lot of
yeah.
there's Terrence Fixmer. There's uh, definitely David Coretta's on here sometimes. We have a lot of stuff. So I have now like almost 600 releases of homework to do, I guess. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, all right. So you were kind of into Electroclash, but you wouldn't necessarily say that's what you were doing.
Well, I mean, I was not playing any Electrocash bands at that time, and that's for sure. It's not the music I was creating, but I'm sure that I played some tracks. I still have even here in the background, but I should check it and go away. I mean, go away from the camera. I have some records of the time. If you want, I can just see if I get something and show them to you, because I don't play records since that time. And so for sure I am. I mean, most of the records are 2003, 2004, and maybe I found something good. But you have to wait to wait 2 seconds.
I mean, if you want to go show us some records, I won't
Yeah,
stop
I'll show
you.
you.
I can
I'll show
entertain
you.
the people for a minute. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we are tuned in right now to a live interview. And in a few minutes, we're going to start listening to this new record, Bloody and Terry Country,
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, we're here with Lady Maru, based in Rome. And she's telling us a bit about her musical influences and history right now before we listen to the record. And apparently, we're
I
going to
mean,
see some early 2000s Electroclash-ish records now from Lady Maro's collection.
this is something funny, but I cannot tell you who it is really. I can just tell you that it's a label from Belgium called Surprise. I don't know if you can read it from here. Anyway,
I
this
can't.
is like, it's called of techno. I remember this record that everybody danced to it at that time.
I don't
It's
know that
with
one.
beat, with strong beat. I mean, and it's maybe it's not. It's 2000 actually. Wow. I mean, it's Antwerpen, Lowlands distribution, 2000. Um, then this is more really electroclashy. I think I got it in London somewhere. But this is more less techno, a little bit more poppy. I don't know if you
What
can
does that
see it,
say?
but
Best friend?
best friends, yes, whatever. But I mean, it was so funny to mix all this stuff together. And this is another, for instance, of the always of this Belgian bands were my
The
favorites. So I have,
backlash.
yeah, I have 3 or 4 of those. And then I see what I hold here. Maybe I have to move from the other side. These are things that are more glammy, and I'm not a big fan of glam rock. So I think I bought it, and maybe I played it sometimes, but not all the time.
Has a cool cover. What was that album called?
Um,
Trash?
Trash Palace. It's 2003 actually, and it's French. The metric system. Honestly, this I remember a little bit less, but there were all this sort of electro producers. This is a record that I played a lot, but then it became mainstream, as you can see from the from the cover. And the remix was a little harder. That's what I played, but the lyrics are totally, totally,
What
totally
is it?
mainstreamy. It's called Proper Filthy Naughty. But I think, and I took it in London, and the price was always £6. And it's actually, I mean, what if I always 2003. At that time it was nice, but if I would listen to it now, this one isn't. It has not the underground appeal that the others have, if you know what I mean. But it was fun anyway because people dance to it a lot. And then wait, I see if I found you something else, and then we stop with the Electroclash thing.
I'm
You
enjoying
want?
this show and tell.
No, but it's
I have
funny.
a handful of records from this era, like the early 2000s Electroclash stuff. It's like
Yeah.
it's an interest of mine, but at times it definitely sounds dated or like you can tell that it's been 20 years and we've taken these influences and brought them somewhere else by now. But I guess that can happen with any sort of older music, that's been
Well, I mean, the techno is
used
more
as a
poor.
derivative.
I think that the techno is more poor. I mean, it has no time. This Electroclash was really weird, and some got lost. Unfortunately, I mean, a lot of the records got just somewhere. So maybe this is German, and yeah, I remember I played this record a lot too. It's always
It says mono
electroclashy.
surround we. Is that what that's
Mono
called?
surround, yes. It's called Dreamer Mad Horse Mix. But I mean, it's not so. This was not so dark. I told you the backlash were the best, and then I have a lot of bootlegs too, like things that were mashed up. You remember that always in this time there was a moment where the people used the vocal from one song and the bass from another, like hip hop, but in techno. And this was funny too. But it's always the border between it's electroclash, like the border between mainstream shit and trash and techno.
Yeah, I'm gonna need like the Lady Maru guide to Electroclash in a mix now. We're gonna need the vinyl
Yeah,
mix for this.
yeah, we will do it another day too. I just see if I find something that it's really, yeah. This one is, I think you know it because this is always
I can't
Belgian.
read the title.
It's neat and fancy.
don't think I know that one actually. Well, you've
Yeah,
given me some homework here.
2004. And this is really like, yeah, this is really totally Electroclash. And
Yeah, I've definitely sought out some of this stuff because I'm very interested in this fusion of electronic music and
yeah,
punk, right? But I was like in middle school, like in junior high school at this time when it was all being released, so I wasn't really uh,
uh,
part of that culture. I mean, I did hear some of like the influences like in the stuff that I listened to even at that time, which was I guess more like mainstream alternative music, just like whatever was playing on like alt radio here, like when I was like 14 or whatever. I mean, but yeah, so it's definitely been a retrospective interest of mine, even though I was like somewhat active in listening to music at that time, I wasn't fully aware of all the hip subgenres. uh, um, but anyway, yeah,
yeah,
thanks for that little guide through your record collection. That's
yeah.
interesting. Um,
Was it
so
just
you've
fell into
played
the
some of the
conversation?
Electroclash stuff, but selectively.
Yeah, I mean, I played it among even some other techno stuff, but the techno stuff I had it on CDJ. That's the thing, and those stuff I bought it because it was easier to find the MP3 of techno that this stuff was right in digging in the record stores. You know what I mean? So it was easier to get it on vinyl, and the techno was a little bit more easier to get somewhere else because you could know the author. That was the thing. That's why I have more Electroclash records rather than techno.
The chat is mentioning some of the Electroclash bands that have survived time, including Ladytron. I'm still like kind of surprised that Ladytron is still like so actively making music. Like we did like somebody requested them the other day on my show, and I played Blue Jeans, which I hadn't listened to in like over 10 years for sure. But they were like one of the bigger bands in that sound, at least towards the mid 2000s, I guess. That track apparently was released in 2002, which is 20 years ago now, which is wild to think about. It's almost reaching
Ah,
like classic music status. I think at least the guide to like classic rock stations is like it has to be like 25 years old, or essentially like it's basically the same rules as like when you call something vintage for clothes, I think. So we're approaching that level with this movement already. It's like doesn't seem like it's been that long, but all right.
well, I mean, people are still playing garage music. Okay, if they play the Oblivions, you can even play whatever Ladytron or some 20 years ago hits, let's say. No, no, random. I told you I went record shopping in London and Berlin. So I don't know. That's why I told you this is German, this is Belgian, this is whatever. For sure, not Italian. Well, I mean, it was not Italy. I mean, the whole thing was not it. As I said, it was not based in Italy. Italy had more techno and house and like more serious stuff with no vocals, and this was like mixing vocals with beats. Yeah. Actually, yes, we decided to put the ending track that it's more a ballad, and we decided to give the title of the whole album. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's not a positive title, but I think it's more a reflection. So, Bloody and Teary Country. It's yeah, I would say it's more a human reflection. And yeah, I mean, the main thing is that of course we don't have war in Europe, and we are a rich country and everything is fine, but I think all this pandemia and virus thing, I mean, it made us understand, on the one hand, that we are lucky because we can get, if you want, the vaccination and blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, that everything is really tough. So I think it's more something about reflection. And we actually would like to shot a lo-fi video clip of this track, and putting some real items of real life, like going on the street, walk, and but we're still thinking of how to do it because, as you know, a video clip is it's very hard. I mean, it's not. Even if lo-fi and with cell phones, it's you have to have a little team, let's say.
Okay, can you hear me now, chat?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, apparently I was having an issue with the rain sound replacing my voice. We're fine now. Okay, well, anyway. Okay, so the Bloody and Terry Country, it's not like in reference to a specific place or anything.
No, no, I wouldn't say it. It's in general. Maybe every country is a little bloody and teary at the moment. You say Terry, then.
Yeah, sorry. It's teary like tears, right? Or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
okay.
yeah, tears, tears, tears. So I
All right.
asked if in English you say teary or Terry because at the
Oh,
beginning, so
yeah, teary.
teary, brand
Teary.
theory, yeah, from
Yeah.
tears, yeah.
Yes. Well, this is also true. Rough times all around for all the countries. Sorry, I'm laughing that I had like a minor like ASMR rain takeover. it's I've been replaced by ASMR rain. This interview conducted by nature. All right. Sorry. Okay, we're good now. Um, cool. Well, we are going to listen to it here in a minute, but first, I didn't get to talk about your other projects earlier. I read that you have projects within dance, theater, and performances. I'm assuming that's sort of like performance art, and with bands. And you also, I found your IMDb page, so there's also a bit of a film background. Um, I saw you were in there as in like the music department, like credited for like maybe contributing music to something, but you were also in there as an actress for something. So I was curious about that as well.
No, no, it's just because of my face that I'm a little weird. And so my neighbor has an agency, and she got me into the agency that it's called Freaks. It's an Italian agency about weird faces and characters. And so I did in 2 years that I'm in Freaks, I did like 3 self tape where they present you as a character. They search a small role actress, and I managed to win some. So I actually had a role on a really nice movie, a short movie in December, but it will come out next December. And for contract reason, I cannot talk about it now. But I just discovered that it's something that it's really cool. I mean, if you manage to find the thing that I'm not an actress, but if you manage to find the thing that it's sweets well to you, I'd be very happy to learn, even if I have to learn some words to say and to do it, because it's a cool job. You meet nice people, and I mean, if you're lucky, you meet nice people, and it's funny and better paid as music, as we know.
Yeah, what isn't really? Um, I mean, I guess unless you're like a really big artist, and we all know that that's more likely to happen if you're doing something a bit more mainstream, I guess, or a little bit more commercial sounding. Definitely hard to do in the underground. But okay, so what I found on IMDb on anyway, let's look at this for a second. Moments of No is a short film made out of no, a project still ongoing
Ah, this thing. No,
that
but this was just
uses. Sorry, I
a
got cut
project.
off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem.
Uh, that uses street performance balancing between dance theater, street art, and underground fashion in order to realize a modern, absurdist slapstick show. The short film revolves around a girl who struggles with life expectations and gender normative, but finds her way through self determination to react and move on with her journey.
Ah, yeah, but this was like 4 years ago, and I think I just did the. I don't even remember it so well. So it was in Berlin anyway. Some friends in Berlin. Uh,
That's
we
fine.
had we had fun together, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so you occasionally do sort of other art projects, though, like performance art. I found a couple other videos of you on YouTube where it's like
Yeah.
maybe other people's music videos or something, but
Yeah.
you were like walking around a city in one of them. Do you know what
Ah,
I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah. This was funny. Yes, this was with a trumpetist player. It's where I walk around the city with the old trash, right? A video. If you saw a video of trash, this was we shot it 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and the situation it's always the same. It's in my neighborhood actually. It's always full of trash, and so this is a more downtown electronic thing, and we decided to make the video in 1 hour. It was really funny. I love this experience. And yes, this was one of the projects, but it's not a live project. And then maybe you're talking about my last, that it's before this album with Lestat, and it's Brutal Casual magazine. Maybe you've seen some short cuts of this.
I'm not sure if I have. There was a lot out there. It was an
Yeah.
impressive arrangement of different types of work that Google told me about.
Yeah, no, I mean the last thing I'm actually working, it's the album of Industrial Complex that came out in June, so it's this year. It's really fresh, and we already made 6 performances, I think, in 1 year, or 7. And it's very weird because it's a thing that it's a music performance with my photographer friend. So there is two freaks of us making music. It's dark, weird music. When you have time, you can listen to it, or I can link you the album. And we're doing it live. And there is three machines that cameras that have the automatic flash. And so they take us while we are playing, and automatically. And the screen, there is a screen behind us because it's an art performance, and you can see what's happening on stage on the screen. So the person that sees you playing music, and then the photograph. I mean, the camera becomes part of the concert. Basically, that's a theme of brutal casual.
So is this a project you started in Berlin?
No, this we have in Italy. I mean, actually, we are managing to. I have to practice in northern Italy for this because the studio is there of my friend. He's Italian, but the will is to put it all over, of course, to travel when it's possible, of course, and to bring it all over. It's similar to a theater work. That meaning that you can do it even in a normal venue, but you need a special installation. You know what I mean? So you cannot really play on a normal punk venue because the band after you might have some problems, or you might have problems because you need to put the cameras, the screen, blah blah blah.
Sure, sure. Okay, so let's go into the album now. So we are going to
Yeah.
listen to the first track here in a second. We're going to listen to Lady Maru's new album with Lestat, or Lestat, a producer also based in Italy, and they previously released the Disrupted Anarchist.
Anarchist. Yeah.
Why can't I remember this name?
No problem.
EP.
Yeah.
And this is their second release together. It's coming out on Routine Records out of Moscow on Friday. And it's really good. Some driving EBM infused, art punk infused, post punk infused techno. And with, some acid flourish, industrial techno flourish as well. If I'm just going to really list all the genres right now, all the things we like. And if you missed the earlier part of my interview, Lady Maru started producing music in 1994 with an electric guitar, some toy percussion instruments, and a 4-track recorder. She became quickly active as a noise guitarist and casio player for post-punk and no-wave bands in the 90s, and began DJing in the early 2000s, where she also became interested in acid and techno, with industrial and EBM influences, combining the two influences of post-punk and techno at underground raves and parties in Rome and then Berlin. Okay, so we are going to listen to the first track. It's called, let's pull it up here, Claustrophobia. Okay, so that was track number one, Claustrophobia. Has a really nice, sinister, spooky vibe. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that track?
Yeah, it was, I think, the first track we produced I mean, after Disrupted Anarchist. So it was the first, let's say, more wavy beat. And yeah, this time it was, I think, the only track where I thought of the lyric before. I mean, I wrote it and then I said it on top of it, because the other one, it's total freestyle. And yes, I think we lost even a lot of time in finding the right structure, because sometimes it was too long. And so I remember we lost time to say, let's cut it here, let's cut it there, let's find a bridge or a good way to do it. So it was number one. Yes.
So, how did this collaboration work, like musically? Like, were you mostly doing the vocals, or and you're both working on the actual like music, or um, did Lestat mostly do the music part, or how did that collaboration work?
I think that we made, I have to see the tracks in front of me. If I see, I can recognize which one I did the bass and beat, and which one Lestat made bass and beat. But Claustrophobia, he gave me the loop of the tune, I mean, the bass line loop, and I think even the kick. And I made the voice and some other synthes. And so it's, let's say, the whole record, it's maybe 50-50 in the main arrangement idea, but the mix is of Lestat, because I don't like to mix, like, honestly. I mean, I already do it a lot for techno, and we worked together sometimes. And when I was in Berlin, I just sent my parts, and so it was even with via WeTransfer. But we met to set up the final mix, and to even to get some ideas.
So, Lestat did like the mastering of it. Is that what you mean by mix?
No, mix is when the person. I mean, he got the fine. He has the final projects of the stuff. I don't have it. Meaning that all the effects on the final effects on voice, the final cutting of frequencies, it's all by Lestat, the final
Okay.
pre-master production. And then I remember that Claustrophobia and for sure Bloody and Teary Country, the music was, I already had, let's say, 70% of the song. So I put more two synthes and the voice. Those are the ones that I really remember, because they already, when I got it, when I got the main melody, my brain already started to think of a voice to put on top of it.
So, you said, sorry, you wrote these lyrics beforehand. It was more like freestyle.
The vocals freestyle. I mean, Claustrophobia, I wrote it before. I mean, at first, I mean, you try to find something, how you say, a rhythm that the voice could make. But I stopped. I wrote the lyrics, and then I set it on top of it. In the other songs, I just improvised, and some words, and that's what I meant. I mean, with freestyle.
Right, right. So kind of like a stream of consciousness style. Because I mean, they have
Yeah.
that sort of feel to me, which for me reminds me a lot of like the no wave stuff that you were talking about. 'Cause there's a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like sort of beat poetry influence to the style of some of that delivery of just like you know a stream of consciousness, just like spoken word sort of style.
Yeah.
So lyrically, though, is it literally about claustrophobia?
Well, in this case, yes. I mean, about phobias, you can have so many there that actually just four that I mentioned are not enough. Actually, if I had more time, and I could have found all the phobias that are possible to get.
That would have to be a really long song, I think.
Exactly,
There's a
exactly,
lot to
yes.
be afraid of in the world. Or, I mean,
Of course, yes.
people have phobias of like everything pretty much, I
Yeah,
think. Like I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know. But I know that there are some pretty obscure ones out there. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, even some people really don't like oranges or something. I don't know. It's like I feel like there's something with anything that can build up the hype against it for you psychologically, right? Um,
Yeah, but it's very interesting. And the thing is, unfortunately, that phobias can always come. I mean, even if you are around your 40s and you think that, I mean, they can be added to a list, so you never know what's going on, what the new phobia will be about. So,
exciting developments in life can always happen. All right. We're
yeah.
going to move on to the next track, which is called Achieving Ourselves. All right, so Achieving Ourselves. This is the second track from Bloody and Teary Country, which is the album we're listening to right now and released in a couple days on Routine Records. And I'll post another link to it here in a second, but we are here with Lady Maru, who's telling us about these tracks right now.
Yes, and this track is typical example of freestyle. I think in this I didn't write the lyrics, so I just tried to improvise on it. And I just say it because when Driada told us that we need to write the lyrics because there is a new law, I think, for the Spotify or whatever. I mean, the distribution that you need to write what you said. It was a little bit dramatic because in 2 hours I had to figure out what I what I was saying. I mean, some things are clear, of course. It's not that you say things that you don't want to say, but some little things were a bit too creepy even for myself. It was really funny. No, I don't remember if it was really. I mean, on this song, I just remember that there was not no lyric written. I couldn't find it anywhere. So and on maybe not on this particular, but on another song, the one where there is more the vocoder, I really didn't remember the exact word I was saying.
Sorry, my
Here I
mic was
could.
off. I was just asking about what the creepy things were.
The slow, slightly understandable words are the creepy parts.
And I mean, we don't. I mean, do we necessarily need those to be clear? Like, I think it adds to the aesthetic, right?
Yeah, yeah. I always like the, let's say, more Dadaistic aesthetic. But it's still
Yes.
fun if they ask you for the first time in your life to write down the lyrics. So that's a thing. That's a joke. You feel more. I mean, what I want to say is actually you feel more free if nobody gives a shit. I mean, if everybody understands what you want to understand, you know. But at the moment that they say no shit, you have to write down what exactly you are saying because the distribution wants it. Then it starts getting funny. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. So, have you done a lot of actual like written lyrics for things, or has it mostly been sort of like free form, just in your time throughout music? I guess generally.
I started just with when I mean my first band was called Dada Swing, Dada, and so it's already in the name that we didn't give a shit about lyrics. But then there we were a little bit too radical because we were super young kids. And after Dada, I kept on this concept of saying word, not really writing real words or anyway things that really fit, and just following the rhythm. And but then after, I mean, in my last years, I paid a little bit more attention. I mean, one thing is freestyle. It means English words or German words or whatever words that are words, and maybe they don't make too much sense together, but they are words. And one thing is to say words that don't exist, if you know what I mean.
Like, what are some of these words that don't exist?
No, in this album, it's English. Though in my four in the things I have done before in the bands I have had before, say that we used to say yeah, words, not existing words.
Like intentionally making up words?
Yeah, intentionally that. But there is a band that I like. I'm a fan of Heimat. It's you if you are, I think you will like them. They are a French duo from Teenage Menopause record, and the record is really great. And she, the singer, is she has a master in not non-existing words. She does it on purpose, but when she does it, it's really great. I think if I do it, I'm not so great. You know what I mean? And if you ever manage to take a listen to this band, they are called on Bandcamp. You can find that Heimat, written Agimat, like the German word, and you can understand better what I mean.
I am looking for this band right now, but I'm not saying it. Sorry, did you say it's Himat? Himat?
H-E.
H-E?
H-E-E. Hey,
Oh, okay.
the H-E-I-M-M-A
Okay, I've got it here. Wait.
and T. Band.
No, I have something else here. I found an album or a song called that from a band called Ultra Flies. That's not what we're talking about.
No. You have to. You can do Heimat. I mean, write Heimat at Teenage Menopause. This is easier. Teenage Menopause record.
Yeah, that's a bit
sure.
more Google friendly, probably. I think I've got it now. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, I see. I was spelling it wrong.
Cool.
Is this, yeah, Teenage Menopause Records. It's based in Paris.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't heard of this label before, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, it's like between post-punk, less electronic. I mean, this band is analogic electronic, but I think the other things they have is more post-punk.
All right. Well, I'm going to post a link here in the chat in case anyone wants to check it out. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this track?
The track of Achieving Ourselves.
Right.
I mean,
we just listened to.
I think this was maybe the third track we wrote. No, I just remember that this one, it's probably I made the bass line, and then I sent it to Lestat to do the other parts of the harmonies. That's the only thing that falls to my mind now.
That's all good. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next track, which is called Expectations. Okay, so expectations. We didn't really talk about the technical setup for things. I don't know if you want to talk about like how you make music, like with like
Yeah, that's interesting.
software and like the technical aspect of things. I'm sure there are people in the chat who would love to know.
Yeah, of course. No, because even I'm reading the chat. So it's true. This is super digital, the baseline especially. I think it's my reactor, the VST of reactor. And then I have, for this album, I used two VSTs, that is reactor for bassy and Tyrene for some arpeggio things. But then this I and the kick is samplers, and on both me and Lestat use Ableton. I have Ableton 10 and I think Lestat 2, same version more or less. And then he has some analog stuff. So the bass line is done by not in this track, but in some other tracks. He uses even some I don't remember actually, but he has an analog bass machine. Honestly, for this, it could have been good if he could have joined joined us on the conversation. But I mean, whatever. I can tell you that it's the whole record. It's half and half. Let's say there is some two or three analog synths. Even the in this track he used to do the. I mean, there is some higher notes that reminds a little bit of gothic, that are a little bit more gothic, say harmony, and this is a synthy.
Yeah, I can hear that. And the sort of the eerie high notes. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so there were analog synths on some of the tracks through
Yeah.
Lestat. Okay, not this one though.
This one maybe the ta-dum, ta-da-dum, dum, dum, but I should ask him. I don't know.
Okay, so
I
for
my
those
ear is
parts,
not so incredible to understand if it was an analog this little thing. I
that's
can
okay.
text him. Maybe he
Yeah,
will answer on the next one.
yeah. I know
And
this was a collaboration, so
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
we're only getting half of that perspective here. Um, but yeah, Cecilia from Echo Barrel texted the other member of her band a few times during our interview too. It's, I guess, how we had to do things here online with everyone far apart and whatnot. Um, but yeah, I'm getting some words from the chat. Someone says 303. Someone else says EMS synth or synthy. I don't know if
I'm asking.
these things mean anything to you. Okay, cool. So you use primarily Ableton, and like your part
Yeah.
was digital.
Yeah, but there is two VST that I'm using. One is Reactor and one is Tyrene, because without those, it's impossible to do this kind of music. And then I have the Mini Nova, but
Can
I
you
use
explain what a VST is for everyone?
a VST is a plugin of a virtual synthesizer that you choose. It's not in the program. You have to choose it, get it from a friend, or buy it. And I used Tyrene and Reactor. Reactor was actually in my computer when I bought it secondhand, and Tyrene too. I mean, so I was lucky because I had exactly what I liked already in the computer, and I just realized that I use them really a lot for this record. And sometimes I use Mini Nova, but Mini Nova it's an analog digital, so it's not very analog, and it's good for the for some white noise and some atmospheres. And I think I used it a couple of times.
So these things just provide specific aesthetics to the sound. Can you explain a little like how you use the VSTs in addition to the software?
Yes, but you open a MIDI channel and it's then you choose the sound you like and you just play it as it was a normal synthesizer. I mean, there is a lot of course, which virtual possibilities how to do the sound design, and you just experiment, and it's the most the funniest thing. And I know that this music is even made of pure and old school, let's say, producers, and they love the real synthesizer. And I actually know that there is a big difference, but I think it's still possible and interesting to work like this, even if it's not the, let's say, the best way to develop the highest warm sound.
Yeah. Are you hearing back from Lestat at all?
He's texting now because I should make a vocal, but if I've talked to him, I cannot talk to you. So
Yeah, sorry. I'm requiring everyone to multitask here. Do you have anything else to tell us about this track specifically? Expectations?
that it was maybe one. I think that all in all, maybe we liked it most because it's pretty punchy. I mean, it's very direct. That's what I'm saying, and it's a little faster.
Yeah. I don't know that I've listened to the album enough to pick a favorite necessarily. When I was looking for stuff to DJ, I definitely wanted to, like, I was interested in playing a few different tracks. And my last set on here, and I ended up playing one of them actually. I played Forces in my set on Strict Tempo last week. But yeah, they all worked really well for mixing, which I appreciate. And that can be difficult with some of like the weirder stuff as well. Like, I don't know, when you get into stuff with vocals, it's kind of shake your mixing territory in general, right? It's less easy anyway than like a complete like 4/4 instrumental techno vibe. But yeah, I like the delivery of the vocals here throughout the record. It's sort of like
Anyway,
sinister.
He answered now. If anybody is interested, he said that he uses Neutron. It's an analog synth, and then he's trying to remember which VSTs he used because he doesn't remember too. But the Neutron is for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll give him a few minutes to think about that, and we will listen to track number 4, which is Transpose Your Mind. Okay, so we have Transpose Your Mind. I felt like that track was a touch more acid, had a little bit of a more acid appeal than the other stuff we've heard from the record so far. Just a touch. I wouldn't say that this is like your most acid release or anything. Clearly, like I don't think that's what you were going for here, but I detected
No,
it a little
that's
bit.
not. Yeah, no, it has it a little bit. It's true. And yes, yeah, I remember on this one. Actually, I wrote because I found the lyrics. I wrote something before, and then I said it on the top. And maybe I had a problem in structuring. I think I lost a lot of time trying to find a structure for this because the harmony is changing when you don't expect that it's changed. And so I remember it gave me a little bit of, took me some time to understand it. Because this track was actually made by Lestat, and then he took some parts away and gave it to me as an idea to start. And since there is this change of melody, I had a little bit of a problem with the voice and with the harmony. But that's even the good thing of it, of working on ideas together.
The voice definitely seems more minimal in this one. Um, I mean, not that it's a bad thing. It's just the overall vibe of it. Is that kind of a way that you accommodated that uh, shifting of melodies?
You mean of changing harmonies? Uh,
Yeah.
I think it's. I think in an album it's good. I mean, you cannot do things all that sound too similar. So I think it was a good approach. And I will see. I mean, it will be funny. The next challenge will be to make the record to play the record live. And by playing it live, we will understand more things because the weird thing about this music is that if you make punk, we usually do things all together. If you play this music if you create this music as we did, like on the computer, basically, then it will be a good challenge when we will have to make the live set, if you know what I mean. Because I will have to remember the words, and of course you can be free, and maybe you say the words later or after. It doesn't have to be like this, but yeah, it will be something even totally different.
Yeah, that's definitely something with a more improvised vocal style. If you do it improvised once, it's like you have to commit to that and just make that like the lyrics, or you're going to improvise it every time. Um, I know a lot of like noise rock and noise in general, no wave sort of stuff is it's all improvised. Like, well, not a lot of it. Some of it is for this reason, to keep it like on its toes, fresh and different. And a lot of musicians operating in that world don't really like to play songs like just with like definite structures. Um, so it's kind of like a combination of these things. Like you're sort of doing improv with the vocals. It seems like at least
Yeah.
it wasn't like completely planned. Like I'm writing these lyrics down. Like this is what it's going to be every time. And then you have the music part, which is definitely not improvised and like being made by like two different people and combined. So there's like a lot of thought and like structure going into the music. And then you have this sort of like, we're calling it freestyle, even though That makes me think of like the 80s dance subgenre, which is like Latin music. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. We're just like talking about like a freedom of speech in the sense that like it's free flowing, uh, like stream of consciousness style is what I mean. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, of course.
So
Another,
sorry, continue.
yeah.
Do you have anything else to share about this track, Transpose Your Mind?
Um, no, maybe. Yeah, I mean the sense of the lyrics. It's of course the computer comments, especially the Ableton comments. I mean, on the program I'm using, there is the button that says transpose and the button that say repitch. So, if of course it's ironic view of it.
So wait, are you saying that in Ableton you can transpose lyrics? Like it'll take the lyrics out for
No, no,
you?
no, no, no. You can transpose things. So I just took it from there. Probably when I was thinking, in other words, when I was thinking of the lyrics of this song, I was watching the program and I read transpose and I said, oh, okay, transpose could be nice to transpose the mind. And then I read repitch and what could you repitch and so on. This is what I'm doing. It's inspired by the comments of the program.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Yeah, I worked with Ableton a little bit in college and then just like stopped, but um, I never got that far into the commands or anything. But so it's a specific reference to Ableton.
Yeah, I think it's probably in any other softwares of too, but it's what I used at least.
Gotcha. All right. So okay, we're gonna move to the next song, which is called Forces. Okay, so we have the track "Armed Forces," which to me, I think that one has maybe the most like um, EBM sound of the album. Uh, Maybe I'm wrong, but it was the one that I played in my show last Thursday. Um, and that was partially also because of like BPMs or how it mixed or whatnot. But yeah, I really enjoy this one, um, and can definitely see it on the dance floor. Hopefully,
Yeah.
one day soon that'll be on an IRL dance floor. But do you want to just tell us a little bit about making this one?
No, no, it's true. I think too that it's the one that is more normal, let's say, EBM standards. And yes, I think this one was one of the last. I think the not really the last, but the one that came before the end of the album. And it was this one pretty easy. I mean, I'm always we see how it comes when we do it live. Still have to decide who is playing what, and but I think and I hope that when it's going to be possible that we can even make a nice energetic live set with all the stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure how people do that. Like, I guess most of the time with a collaboration, or oftentimes, I don't know. Generally speaking, you're doing different things within the music, right? Not the same part, just different parts of the same part. Like within the same
Yeah.
song. So it's not even like switching off between tracks. Like I like made the the beats and the bass and whatnot of this track, and then the other person did this one. Is like you're both doing both of them. It sounds like to some extent for pretty much all these tracks. Is that true?
That somebody's doing
Just
certain
that you're
thing.
both working on both of these tracks, like even like the instrumentals, like not just you're doing the
Yeah.
vocals. Like you both had a part
Yeah,
in the instrumentals on all
sure.
of them. Is
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
no,
saying.
sure. But I have to say, beside other things I did alone, of course, for this album, I did less music wise. I mean, I'm doing another album for Rework Records in April, and 4 tracks are always EBM-ish, and then even the record I did the one more experimental alone. Of course, I had to take care of the whole music, and here, no, I actually played 2, 3 synths. Some songs I did more, and then the lyrics. So it's of course it's hybrid, but I have to say that compared to other productions that I did in the last year, with this one I did way less music wise. I mean,
What are some of the other collaborations you've worked on the past few years?
no, it's my solo. There is in the past 2 years of COVID, there is a lot of solo stuff, even experimental. And then brutal casual, of course, the project I told you before, an industrial complex.
Okay, so you've been pretty busy, it sounds like. And you were also releasing records on your label during this time as well.
No, on the label was before. I just put them out now, but it was all work. That's why the music is a little different. It's music of 2018, 19. It's not super fresh. Because for the vinyl, you need to take the stuff before, and of course, it takes more time. So I just worked on my solo because I was locked down and I won a scholarship of Musicboard Berlin last year. And so that's why I did two 16 tracks on my own. plus a lot of singles that I had to do for other producers. And so it was really a busy time. Yes.
Okay. What are some of the releases that you did on your own, like your solo releases?
There is it's called Distorted Piece. And it's really like 2 tracks are dance floor and 6 tracks are totally crazy, like experimental with words. I mean, electronic, a little dark, and it's the one on diffuse reality. Um, and then Brutal Casual was between 2020 and the beginning of 20 of January of last year. And then I wrote the drums and the bass, and on top of it there is a lot of noises. And my friend made a lot of noises like guitars and very weird sounds, and so we combined all together. It was really fun experiment. Once you listen to 1 or 2 tracks, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up here on Bandcamp. I have not listened to this yet. I'm familiar with this label, Industrial Complex. I
It's
will have to
called
give this a go.
Industrial. You can just search Brutal Casual Magazine,
Yeah, I
Bandcamp.
have a link to it now. I'll post it in the chat,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
at
And
least
that's,
to
yeah.
this record, Brutal Casualty. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
Brutal Casualty is a record, yes. And then my solo
not Casualty.
is Lady Maru, Distorted Piece, Diffuse Reality, and you get it too.
Yeah, I love both of these labels. Diffuse Reality. I have a bunch of their stuff
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So this was all like COVID projects, like all stuff you released in lockdown.
Yeah. Uh, Brutal Casual, as I told you, it's connected to the live performance, the one with the screen and the cameras. So it's something we wanted to do it already in 2018. And yeah, my solo stuff is thanks to the music board scholarship. I could, like, say, have some pocket money to eat and pay my rent in Berlin. And so I could produce music, and I decided to do this more experimental, and then the next one with a video that will come in April for Revoc Records.
Sorry, was the record label that you just said?
Revoc, you will like them for sure. It's called View OK. It's like dark industrial and techno and even freaky stuff. Has a really great aesthetic. I mean, I like it at least.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up right now.
Yeah.
I When did you actually release on this label though?
No, I made some singles for them in before lockdown. I mean, 2020, but the music is old. It's like, and then I'm doing it in April because it needs time. Next April, the music is already done, but it will be released in May.
Is it spelled Revok?
Revok. Yes.
It's not the one based in Paris, is it?
No, it's in London.
Oh, okay.
R E
Yeah, there's
V.
a couple of them.
Okay.
There's one that called Revoke with an E at the end in London. Is it the one with Ellery Cowles, Darren Nye, Derek Carr, and Elect 3000? I think there's just a bunch of labels with this name, actually.
Mm, no,
It,
it's
it
like
doesn't look like the vibe.
you can try to find a Revoc and Lesser of. It's one of the artists they have recently, or Lady Maru and Revoc, and it should you should get to this label. Or maybe
Bandcamp
I'm
search
spelling it
function.
wrong.
I think it's honestly just like the Bandcamp search function. That's even if I type in like the exact thing I'm looking for, it won't
Try to
appear.
Google. Just try to
Okay.
Google. Maybe it's easier. REV, not W, but V with like this, O and K.
All right, we're gonna find this label.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get in the chat too, but I can't from the.
All right. Well, it's just not Googleable, so I tried. But I believe that it is a thing on the internet
Yeah.
somewhere. All right.
Yeah, I just found it. If you want, I can make you the like whatever. Like R like Rome, E like
Yeah, no, I think it's
Eugene.
yeah, it's spelling right. It's just there's like many things
Mm.
coming up for it. Like the first thing I get is like a noise like post-hardcore
Yeah,
label.
it's not Paris, it's UK. Try to make Reebok Records UK. There it is.
Okay, I got it now.
Found it. London,
There's
UK, yeah.
actually there's two labels in London with this exact same name. So
Yeah, the one
that's a thing.
with the cool
uh,
this one.
yes, I'm familiar. Like I've seen some of these records
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
I think I have a couple of them on my wish list, maybe on Bandcamp. But
That's
yes,
cool.
this makes
Yeah.
a lot more sense here. Okay, I'll post a link to this because this does.
Thank you.
It seems worth the vibe,
Yeah.
worth checking out. All right. Thanks for working us through that, through the many different Revoc records, apparently.
Yeah.
Google at your own risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what might appear? The other 10 labels called this. All right. Cool. So those are some of the other releases that Lady Maru has worked on the past few years. And if you just joined us, we are listening to the full album, Bloody and Teary Country, which will be released on Routine Records this Friday. So I guess in a little over 24 hours on Bandcamp. But it is up there on pre-order now. Will it be available anywhere else to listen to online?
Yeah. It will be, I think on Friday it will be available all over.
Like on like Spotify or iTunes, stuff like that, or primarily Bandcamp?
Everywhere. Yeah, of course the
Everywhere.
streaming it's always better in on Bandcamp. I mean even for political reasons, but I think it's gonna be even on YouTube. I think we already have 3 or 4 tracks on the premiere, and I'm sure the whole album will be streamable soon.
Yeah, I've been noticing the trail of premieres the past few days. The hype is building. All right, cool. Well, we're also going to do a little poll in the chat of your favorite track from the album, so keep that in mind as we're listening. We have 2 tracks to go, and this next one is called Blind Date with the Devil. All right, this one's got that eerie outro going on. That was the track Blind Date with the Devil. We're here with Lady Maru, who made this record with the producer Lestat, also based in Italy, and who I'm also going to have to check out more after hearing this. Uh, his name was new to me, checking out this release. But I was definitely immediately hooked from this combination of arty punk and post punk and techno. So, Blind Date with the Devil.
Actually, the title was Blind Date with a Neutral Devil, but there was somebody took the neutral away, and then I didn't want to
The neutral devil. What
yeah.
difference does this make to you? Like, what is the meaning of the neutral devil?
Well, I mean, Blind Date with the Devil is super. It's more common. With a neutral devil, it's more freaky, which was the sense of the whole song. But it's okay.
So, how does I guess I'm trying to see like neutrality in the devil.
Yeah, that's
What does
why.
this conceptually mean to you?
That yeah, the conceptually is that if yeah, that's the thing exactly, that there is no. It's strange that a devil could be neutral, but if you think of it, it means that it can be even a good devil because it's not sticking to so much to Saturn. It's like whatever. This was the the aim of it. But actually, I mean, this song I could find a part of text written and a part not. And this was a funny song where we didn't understand what I was saying because the effect is so powerful. And I mean, I didn't, and we didn't expect somebody that we had to write down the lyrics. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the conversation.
So this neutral devil, though, it's like sort of like a non-judgmental devil. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, it's not judgment exactly.
uh,
That's the sense.
so it's like, sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around this idea. But I never really considered that like the figure of Satan or like the devil to be like biased, I guess. I mean, perhaps biased towards evil, but I guess you said in that neutral, it's like it could be a good devil too.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm going too deep into this. Uh,
yeah.
okay, so and who made like the synth stuff in this one?
Lestat. The do 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 do, the main thing. And on this, I really don't remember what I did. Maybe the ting ting, the melodies on top, maybe. And I just know that this is one of my favorite. I mean, this I played in several, just to, when you play a demo when it was unmastered, and it really worked. Yeah, I played when I was playing more EBM and slow tempo, of course, because it's 120 BPM. You can pitch it a bit, but it's not. You cannot pitch it really when you play hard stuff. But when I played, I have to say that it works, and it works better probably than the other songs, just because the lyrics is like a synth. So it's very. I think it's suitable for dance floors, and it's more electro. The club. It reminds me a little bit of the gigolo stuff.
Which I apparently need to listen to hundreds of releases now. I definitely have some of the releases there, but I was unaware of the expansive depth of that label. Yeah. So thanks for that. Some great label recommendations from you today, and uh, some great music as well. So, when you do decide to play shows again, or when that is possible, how are you foreseeing this live setup to be? Like, you and Lestat both with, like, I guess he also uses analog synths in addition to software, right?
Yeah, no, I think it will make it really easy, even because it's more. I think this project is not, as I said before, brutal casual, and it's not punk with the drums. So it has to stay nice. I mean, it has to stay a live set, but we can easily do it with a DJ too. So we're thinking probably the laptop as a drum machine as usual. I know it's not very poetic to use a laptop, but I don't care. It's a best thing. And maybe he can play some synths live on the MIDI on the MIDI parts. And I will bring maybe the pad machine so I can make some claps and some the voice with effects. And I think I'm buying a new synth because my Mini Nova, the thing I told, is very destroyed. It has no real notes, and so I was thinking of getting a monologue that it's a very simple, basic synthesizer for this project, and that's it.
And for the vocals, would you actually go through the songs and like write down what you were saying to repeat that, or would you kind of like change them up a bit each time?
You mean the lyrics, right?
Yes, the lyrics.
Yeah, I will see what I remember with my head, and what I don't remember, I will just more or less remember the words I used and maybe repeat them. Even because for a live set, it can be better to make it more simple. It will be a good challenge to my memory strength to see if I can remember so many words and say them at the right time.
So you're not planning on like going through the tracks and like writing down what you said. You're just kind of like,
No, it's already written down,
oh,
but I
okay.
have to learn. I have to learn it. I mean, written down doesn't mean that I remember it. I mean, when the music is there, I have to practice.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, I am looking forward to hearing how that translates live for you. I mean, I'm guessing that you're not planning on doing a U.S. tour anytime soon. Have you've played in the U.S. before?
Yeah, I played in 2005, 2006, and 8 with two different projects. And I mean, just the first tour was really the best and unforgettable. The second was not so good because we had an issue with spring break and we lost a lot of money because people went out of colleges and we didn't know it. And so I mean, there were not so many people at the shows. And in America, they pay if they come. There is not a fixed fee, and so we lost a lot of money. And when we came back, we in 2008 with another project, we just did the East Coast. So the East Coast is easy: Canada, New York, and down to North Carolina, South Carolina, whatever. And it was college seasons, and I mean, this kind of music we made, like the snow wave, is actually good for I mean, you can even play in all ages, so it's not it's good for university things.
So, what were those projects you were playing in?
um
What were those projects you were playing in for those tours?
where they were, I mean, what
Which
kind of.
projects? Like
Ah,
playing
yeah,
in
the
bands or?
first project is Dada Swing. The band I had that was really freaky till 2006, and then Trouble versus Glue. It's my other band, and we're still playing some shows, but really few. And I don't know if we will continue, but we've been doing it because we're not touring anymore. We're just playing random shows. And yeah, I mean, and anyhow, if the world will, I mean, I would like to play whatever. I mean, if it will be possible, I want to go back to the States and even play some DJ shows, and maybe, who knows, maybe with less that we can, why not? We could manage. We'll see whatever happens. I'll definitely, I mean, in solo as a DJ, I'll definitely up to come back soon.
So when you toured the US, did you play like the West Coast at all?
Yeah, of course, especially the West Coast, because the label was American, and but it was really another time. I just found back the pictures the other day; they were crazy. It was really super underground, and I mean, sometimes it was super busy. I mean, we even played San Francisco, and the place was full because the band helped us. The band hosting us was from there, and so they invited all the people. And then we played everywhere, especially in the in the West Coast. It was great. The house parties and California, well, and Portland, Olympia. It was a good tour, actually. Really good tour.
What was the label you were working with?
No, it was Cochon Records. Cochon, like the little French
Oh, like croissants.
pig. No, no, pig.
Oh,
Cochon. And they're from South California. And
I don't think I know that one.
well, I mean, I think he stopped to produce stuff, but before he was into post punk and dark and queer artists. It's Cochon. You can find the Instagram, Cochon Records. And one song of us of Dada Swing was on Kill Rockstar compilation, and Kill Rockstar was pretty big, so we could even, thanks to this, even if it was just one song, we could find some shows too. And the drama was American, so she has some friends from the college that could help, and other musicians that could help. So it was pretty easy.
I'm looking at this label right now, Conchon. I only
Yeah.
recognize a couple of things on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he stopped, I think, in the last years. So he was very active at the beginning of 2000, and recently, not so much anymore. But the stuff are always there online.
yeah, this it's kind of a throwback here. Gravy Train. I
Yeah,
remember finding that band on like a music blog in the mid 2000s, uh, and listening to them in college. We have a
yeah.
wait, Pink Floyd. What is this doing in here? This can't be Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd.
No, no, no.
It's a Paris Palais, the Sport 1983. It's an unofficial release, CDR. I think it's actual Pink Floyd, though. It's like a bootleg. Doing all kinds of stuff over here. All right. Um, kind of random, but I like it. Experimental Dental School. That sounds familiar. All right.
Yeah, there
So
is a lot of crazy
some
and
art
freaky,
punk,
crazy.
especially, it looks
Yeah.
like. Okay. Yeah, this is like a guide through labels today with Lady Maru. Um, and we are getting close to the end here. We just have one track left of the album to listen to. I'm going to do a little poll just for fun. I'll start it like when the last song ends, but you can vote for your favorite track from the album. I'll post the list here in a minute so you can think about it as well. Um, do you have anything else to tell us about this track?
Yeah, that is the one with the longest lyric I ever wrote, I think, because it's all spoken word. This is super freestyle. Um, yes, it's we wanted to make the ending song like an ending song, so slow down the rhythm, and always Lestat had this idea of this more melodic arpeggio, whatever you want to call it. So it's actually pretty. I mean, not mainstream, but I mean the music can get closer to mainstream parts, and then I destroyed it totally with the voice, that it's a little bit more creepy. So I think at the end, it's I I mean it's really much something I hadn't done before, I would say.
I don't think this album is veering too closely to the mainstream at any point. And I mean that as a compliment, definitely to the highest degree. Here, we definitely value underground music. And I like music that pulls from a lot of diverse influences as well. And so your release piqued my interest, combining all the things that I like together. We've got post-punk and we've got techno and some other stuff going on here. Um, do you have any current projects also in the works, like any solo stuff? Or do you have any other releases planned? Or is this kind of like what you're focusing on right now?
No, the one on Revoc Records that we said that it will be out in May, and then the one on Diffuse Reality was the last long one, and in January I will make some just a solo track for dance floor track for Chronicles Records from UK. It's industrial and hard techno label. And then I think one song in a compilation of Feminist. She's another DJ. She's American actually. And the label is called Dark Carousel. And it's a compilation of other minimum 20 artists. And I think it will come out in February. So this is the plan, more or less. And then another remix I did for Ayako. And yeah, there is a few stuff coming, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Sorry, who did you say the American artist was?
Feminist. Feminist. It's called
Feminist?
Fema, no, FEMANYST. I'm sorry I don't get into the chat. Otherwise, it could be easier for sure.
No, it's okay.
Here there is a chat where I can write. See? So I can write all things that are not.
Yeah, you can definitely chime in the chat if you'd like. I think I found the label Dark Carousel. I'm already following this one. That's in Berlin though. Oh, I see actually the artist you were talking about now, Feminist.
Yeah.
The album called Holy Ghost Gabber.
Yeah.
So wow, you actually have a lot of stuff coming up. That's impressive. All right. So we're going to listen to this last track now, which is the title track of this album, Bloody and Teary Country.
The planet that was torn
Okay, so we have the track Bloody and Teary Country, which is the title track of this album and the final track of it. We just listened to the full thing. You can check it out on Routine Records Bandcamp. I'll post the link again here in a second. But it'll be out officially on Friday. And also, it will be streaming all over the internet, so you can catch it in many places as well. But yeah, we're going to talk about this just this last track here, Bloody and Teary Country. So we talked a little bit about like the meaning of the album earlier, and it's not really in reference to like a specific country or anything, but do you want to talk a little bit about the theme of this track?
About the what?
Like the theme.
The
like
theme.
What it's about.
Yeah, because it repeats the thing of how you say, of the non-happening revolution. I don't know if you managed to, as an English speaker, to understand it. So the absence of freedom, the non-happened revolution, blah blah blah. So it's basically all about not really doing anything. That's the thing. I mean, not going against anything and just, how can you say, just taking things as they are without reacting so far. I mean, there is not so much the rebel spirit and the thing.
Okay, so it's like kind of about like complacency a bit. Just being sort of non-reactive to things. Is this
Yeah, exactly.
like a non-reaction to something in particular? Like Are we talking about like political strife or like
I mean, the system, whatever. So it's even a real truth, actually. I mean, even if you think you are a rebel or whatever, I mean, actually, nobody is really changing the world nowadays, you know.
I suppose unless you're Jeff Bezos, money is changing the world, sadly.
Yeah, but nobody, no human is actually really changing. I mean, we are not anymore in the revolutionary times, actually. So it's a little bit sad, but yeah, I mean, reflective more than sad. I think that's a thing. And what I had like to do with this track is actually, as I told, to do some visuals. I mean, to take some parts of real life, of real people, but it's a very difficult experiment.
Okay, so we also have a little poll going on in the chat right now. If you want to vote for the favorite track of yours that you heard from the album today, I just picked like it only lets me choose 5 slots. There were 7 tracks. There's 4 of them on there, and then like an other option. But yeah, you can go ahead and cast your vote if you're in the chat right now, just for fun. Not using this for anything, but yeah. So I feel like this track really ties things together, which I mean, a good closing track should do that, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it's a little bit more down tempo. It's not like the big like club banger, but I think
No.
it has like a really nice poignant feel to it, and also reminds me a lot of the early 80s minimal wave stuff you were referencing earlier, like the bedroom tapes sort of stuff. It reminds me of that aesthetic a lot. And not, I mean, the synth style is a bit more minimal, right? But also just like the general vibe is like very early 80s minimal synth, minimal wave to me. And sort of like the sadder vibe, I guess. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I like that it's a little bit different than the other tracks too. It's like not really techno, you know.
No, no, not at all. It's the usual ending track.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be the place to put it, right? The track that doesn't, it's like a bit slower and doesn't really fit with the rest of the stuff. So we got to wind it down at the end. Um, but it's a great formula. All right. Does anyone else have any questions for Lady Maru in the chat? Oh, Mr. B, one of my regulars, says the favorite was date with a neutral or devil. I almost said ghost because all of my ghost
Yeah.
emojis are exploding in the chat right now. If you're a follower of my channel, you may notice that I uploaded sub badges last night. So I only uploaded one though, so everyone has the same one, and it's just like a sea of little green ghosts on your names now. I will eventually get to uploading different sub badges for you. They have like little badges that go next to your name if you're subscribed to a channel for so long, and you can make them change for however long. Anyway, I finally got around to just uploading the one, and it's all green ghosts, so enjoy. But anyway,
That's nice.
thanks for joining us here today. Thanks for everyone tuning in at home. And I'm going to continue this interview series weekly. I have just a variety of guests. I've kind of had a lot of European guests on the show today, which is why they've been airing earlier in the day. For my European guests, obviously, I don't want to, I'm not expecting people to be up at like 4 a.m. my time to be like in the evening time for us in the US. So those you can find in this part of the day from 12 p.m. Pacific or noon. And they last like about 3 hours. It's been the general vibe so far. And we talk for a bit with the artist and get to know them. And we also listen to one of their recent releases. This one just happens to be brand new. So we lucked out here. It's just releasing in a couple days. But if you enjoy these shows, I will have more of them. And if you also would like to see an interview with any of your favorite new artists, let me know, because I am still booking out right now. I just started doing this not that long ago. And you can also find my previous interviews that I've done so far on YouTube as well. All right. Cool. Well, if no one else has anything in the chat for us, I think we're going to wrap things up here. A big thanks to you for joining us, Lady Maru. I really enjoyed getting to hear your stories and just all about your backgrounds and all of these cool labels you've introduced to us and all of these Electrocash records I need to investigate now. I'll be waiting for the Electrocash special.
Yeah. A last thing I wanted to do, say that maybe I forgot about labels, is just to check out the Witches Are Back label. That is one of my friends that I'm all helping to. And we will do a lot of experimental stuff, even in the forthcoming months or whatever. And
sorry, what's it called again? Witches Are
Back. You can find everything on Bandcamp. Witches Are Back on Bandcamp.
Witches Are Back.
You can find 2 compilation about sex workers that we was a fundraising for sex workers help that in Italy stayed with no health care and blah blah blah. I mean, no social money, and then it turned into a normal label, and it's nice. And that's it. I think whatever. What time is it in the States? I didn't understand.
Well, I'm on the West Coast, so I'm 3 hours behind the East Coast. So it started at noon for me, and I'm 9 hours behind you in Europe. Anything in like the evening time, my time, will be in the middle of the night, like in Europe.
Okay.
So I was just telling people that my interviews with American guests will be in the evening time, like U.S. time. And then for European guests, it'll be like in the evening their time, which is noon for me here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Just explaining the schedule here. I've got this Witches Are Back label. I'm posting the link to it in chat right now. Thanks for recommending all these cool labels, like a lot of stuff that I've never heard of. I think I'm pretty, I go pretty deep into this sort of stuff, so I appreciate that, exposing underground sounds here.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. I will be on your next show too as a participant.
Oh, yay. I think cool. You mentioned you had maybe less access to like recording videos and stuff, or it's more work definitely than recording audio mix only. There's a whole other production element, with the video. So
yeah, cool.
I understand. But that would be amazing to have you on. We would love to have either a DJ set or a live set, whatever works. But a big thanks to you for joining us today. And
if you
want to catch this interview again, I'll post like a slightly edited version, just, taking out the little air breaks or whatever. And that will be up on my YouTube channel, hopefully within the next few days. Yeah. I've been going hard on YouTube uploads lately. It's been like every day uploads. So we're going to try to get it up as soon as possible. All right. And you can join me here.
Don't worry, whenever. And then I'll join you on your next show. That's cool. Thank you very much.
And then you can also join us here for Strict Tempo tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And that will actually be a solo show from me. So another one of those like 5-hour shows, all Vox. And then the following week, I moved all the bands together into the next week. So next week on Strict Tempo, we'll have live sets from Videotron and Night Night featuring Sherry Very, also known as Void Vision. And
Okay.
we'll also have Ex Hyena on next week. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Thank you
I'm
very
I'm just
much.
letting the viewers know right now. But
Okay.
yeah, that's what's coming up on the channel. And thanks again to Lady Maru for joining us. We're just gonna
Thank
hit it
you.
to an outro screen here with another one of her tracks to close things off. But yeah, I really enjoyed having you as a guest here.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Can I move? Ciao.